Thank you so very much for joining us on this edition of the John Mayaki Show. And on this show today, we're going to be discussing politics. In fact, we're going to be zeroing in on Edo North politics, particularly the senatorial ticket in Edo North. Today on the John Mayaki Show, we're going to be hosting our guest. Is a lawyer, astute politician of note in Edo North and in Edo State. He is Honorable Barrister Pascal Ugbome. You're sincerely welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
It's not easy getting you to come to the show. You are very busy. Traversing everywhere to make sure you win the ticket.
Well, apart from the ticket, I'm still very active in my legal practice.
Yeah. But this is not your first time of contesting election. You contested for Senate before.
Yes, 2015.
Okay.
And I think I actually won that election, but because I don't have desperation.
At what level? At the primary level of the election?
I was a candidate of PDP.
Okay, 2015.
Yes. So I flew the ticket of PDP, and then distinguished Senator Francis Alimikhena flew the ticket of APC.
Okay.
Yes. And,
so you think you won that election?
I think I won the election.
But you didn't go to court?
I won the election. I didn't go to court.
Okay.
And for which many people blamed me. But again, it's in my nature. I'm not a desperate person. It's about service. So why do I have to, But that is why this time around, like they said, lightning doesn't strike twice on the same spot. I don't want to make the same mistake I made the last time, and people will blame me, and they will conclude that maybe I sold the ticket.
But there are insinuations that you sold the ticket to the present senator.
Well, there's nothing to sell to him. I'm not a trader. I'm a lawyer.
But are you not worried? Are you not worried that today we hear a court ruling that the governor's faction has the ticket? Tomorrow we hear, the Nobis faction has the ticket. Are you not worried? You wake up on a daily basis, you hear different news. Are you sure you are preparing towards this election?
Well, you see, I'm not worried for several reasons. First, my aspiration, my candidature, my desire to represent the very wonderful people of Afar, my land, at the red chambers of the National Assembly is divine. I'm a divine project. And because it is divine, anything that is positioned against it has failed ab initio. Okay. So from that point of the spiritual, I know that there's nothing to worry about. Okay. And then from the point of view of law, I'm a lawyer. 34 years post-call. I may look young, but I wasn't born yesterday. My understanding of the law sits me comfortably and reassures me that we're on the right path and we will prevail eventually. We had prevailed at the first court of instance, prevailed at the court of appeal on another matter. Now we are headed for the Supreme Court. And I know it's pretty clear. What is happening is that many people have not taken pains to study the Electoral Act of 2022. It's very novel. It's an act that seeks to cure substantially some of the ills of past electoral acts and some of the ills that have bedeviled our political experience and culture. So people are still languishing
in the past.
In the past. But I know that at the Supreme Court will have opportunity for the first time now to look at some of the new developments, new provisions of the Act, and will certainly prevail. And then in terms of society, culture, ethos, I'm not worried because we are we are on the path of righteousness. We are on the path of decency. We are on the path of orderliness, due process. Because of what we represent, there's nothing at all, nothing, like we say in the political palace, no shaking. I'm not shaking at all, because you see, we cannot continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect a change. We have to change. Things have got to change. We are in a very desperate and dire situation in the country. And it behoves of all of us, all right-thinking, patriotic Nigerians, to, check self, check selfishness, me and me alone. It must be me. And let's look at the bigger picture. My brother, it must be me is what has brought us to where we are today. Where right now, it is not nobody.
Yes. You're right.
Even here, everybody is afraid.
Yes.
The economy is in shambles. So what's politics? Apart from the fact that, I mean, it is essentially supposed to be a vehicle through which you help to advance the cause of society, promote the well-being of the people. Are we advancing cause? Are we promoting the well-being? So it's an interesting experience for me. I have no doubt whatsoever that we're on the right path. We must deepen our democratic culture, and that is what we are doing. I mean, if it was a matter of business as usual, you may know because you have your ear to the ground. I was the governor's candidate.
Yes.
I was Obi's candidate.
Yes. At what point?
So I was candidate of everybody because of who I am, because of what I represent, because of the essence of Pascal, the essence of Mini. And that is why it was not difficult for me to decide to be with the people, decide to be with decency, be with honor. Because these are the things that are lacking in our body politic. And we cannot get it if we do not. The law has been made to help us to entrench decency, honor, responsibility, due process. When they say politics is dirty, it is not politics. The people who play that are dirty. So we have to let the world know that we are not dirty. I'm not dirty. And so, as light, we must shine light. We must, exhibit light. And that is the opportunity one has got, and that's what we are doing.
But are you not worried that the governor's faction may not support you in the general election?
Well, you see, the truth of the matter is that factional politics is not new in our political experiment. I particularly, it's not strange to me. When I entered politics from the Zero Party to UNCP, it's always been faction. But, at the end of the day, when the rightful owners of the ticket has been established by the Supreme Court, the governor has a very distinguished personality. And as the quote-unquote leader of the party, because you can't take it away, that is the culture, has the right, has the responsibility, has a duty to ensure that the party wins the election. The good thing is that our presidential election is the same day as our own election. So the governor cannot pick and choose. He cannot campaign for another party, for National Assembly, and then campaign for presidency. So, it's not, it doesn't have the luxury. It doesn't have the luxury, so I'm not worried. You see, it's important that we established who is on the right path for posterity, because it is doing the right thing against not doing the right thing. And if we say because, you know, it should be business as usual, then we will not move forward. And it's against what the governor actually represents. What is happening now is against what he represents. Don't forget that I'm an apostle of the mega agenda, making Edo great again. You know, making Edo great again is supposed to be an institutionalized campaign, reordering and changing the paradigm in the way of thinking of Edo people, so that we can make our state great. And that is the you know, ironically, I am now on the part of mega, and the governor is on the other side of it. So by the time it is established that we are the authentic candidates, the governor will do the needful.
But there are rumors here and there that some of the governor's guys are in Labour Party, and sometimes you see them as if they are losing out from the court process. They sponsor people in Labour Party. Will that not further weaken your chances?
Well, you see, the thing about politics is that many people are very desperate. I'm not desperate. So because of desperation, they do whatever suits them. They may not be directly under the instruction of the governor. For their own desperate survivalistics, they may decide to begin to look at plan B. That is to tell you that they know in their heart of hearts, because conscience is a wound. It's only truth that can heal it. They know the truth. And that is why they are beginning to Zacchaeusly begin to look for, Nicodemusly look for alternatives. Why am I not looking for alternatives? Because I know that we are the path of rectitude, the path of sanity, the path of decency, the path of honor, the path of law, the path of propriety. So I don't have a plan B. I'm PDP DNA. I'm PDP till when my Lord will tell me to come.
Wonderful. That's quite interesting. But there's this other thinking that the senator may not also work for you because he is also fighting the ticket with you, the present senator.
Well, I call him Ahamia. He's a man that I have tremendous respect for. I've known him way back early 90s. But at some point, he was my client, in Lagos. We've come a long way. He has the right to aspire for as many tenures as possible. I don't grudge him that. As I also have a right to make myself available to Edo North people to say, I think he's done well, but I can do better. Because there's always room for improvement.
That is it.
So to that extent, what he's doing is perfectly in order. Since he has tried in APC, he ran primaries there, lost, he's come over to PDP, he thinks there's an opportunity, but there's no opportunity. So I'm sure that every day the scales fall from his eyes, gets clearer and clearer that there is nothing. Anybody who is promising him anything or doing anything, they are just like blow blow. You sold him blow blow. So like we used to sing those days, blow blow boss, then they lost. Another day, come and buy. By the way, John, let me know. I needed to first of all, I know it's not about you, but it's about you. I needed to first of all congratulate you and commend you for what you are doing. You see, you have decided to walk a path that is not the usual.
Thank you, sir.
You could have, like any other young man, when issues came up in government and all that, resign yourself to faith and be complaining and be groveling, and then but you decided to take the challenge, the development as an opportunity to rediscover yourself. And here you are.
Thank you,
sir. And I think that it's a big message that is being sent around the whole world, especially to our young men in Afema land. That I mean, we are not disabled.
No, no, no.
We are very able.
Yes.
You know, intellectually savvy. God has equipped us.
Yes,
And that is
thank
one
you,
of the
sir.
things that when we get there, we are going to help bringing people like you
Thank you,
to showcase to the youth that if John Mayaki can do it, if Ominimini can do it, the son of a teacher, then you can do it.
Yes. That is the truth.
That is it, you know.
But I want to appreciate you for that. And that story is a story I have reserved for
For
another
another
day.
day. Okay.
Because the governor was fair to me to
Yeah.
pick me as a chief press secretary.
Yes.
No, 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 he gave me that platform.
Yes.
But when I begin to see that I could not continue, in fact, he even appointed me MD of Observer.
I'm aware now.
Yes. And then he asked me to keep the CPS
Yes.
and continue with
The
Observer.
Observer, yes.
But there was a point of
You record at
departure.
which point I will congratulate you. Even though we're different parties,
Yes,
but that's
so
when I
you
will
did,
congratulate
you
you.
did,
Yes.
you did.
Because when I see something that is decent and good, I appreciate it.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know?
I appreciate that, sir. I appreciate
Thank
that, sir. Yeah. Now, let us look at this point where the governor also set up a committee to resolve the issues in the party, and you had former governor, Lucky Benejo, heading that committee. How far with that committee now to resolve the issues in the PDP?
Maybe the best person this question should be asked is the person who set up the committee and the person that was set up, because nobody has spoken to me, nobody has discussed anything with me, and I'm not aware that anybody has spoken to anybody. But again, peace at the end of the day is what we require as a people, because without peace, there's no progress. Without peace, no development. And without peace, the party cannot even, because united we stand, and divided we fail. So let me give it to him that, he thought about setting up a committee, but I know he gave the committee 6 or 7 weeks or 8 weeks since passed.
Yes, it's passed.
Nobody spoke to me, and I'm not aware that a report has come out. It is his prerogative. Maybe the committee has the ability has a esoteric ability to X-ray and elicit from people without interacting with them.
On your own, what do you think is the solution to settle this crisis in the PDP on your own? Now, the issues are that the governor said, I want some guys into the ESCO and all of those. Then the sharing formula in government, commissionership, special advisor, and all of those. What is the solution to this crisis?
Well, you see, it's a bit very challenging now, because it has gotten complicated by primaries having entered the fray. But before now, when it was just about the party and the management of the party, taking advantage of my closeness to the governor, I advised him. I won't go to the press or anything to poo-poo him or something, but I advised him, I talked to him, and I gave him my own perspective on how these things should be done. If I come to your house, or you see me in the rain, being pummeled by a heavy thunderstorm, and then you have sympathy on me, and then you say, please come. Gentlemen, come. Then I come. If I conduct myself properly, you may decide to say, because of this, what this man is, I know him, I know his eminence. The next 1 week, you talk to your wife, honey, please, so we have an eminent guest. Let us manage, since it's our guest for 1 week, let's manage. We can use the guest room. Let him stay in the bedroom. Let him manage so that I can have comfort and all that. But if you bring me in, and as soon as I just come in, as you give me towel, I'm just drying myself. I just say, John, please tell your wife to move to the other room. This is your room. I'm going to be staying till I leave here. I'm sure.
I will reconsider. I will reconsider.
So there ought not to be any issue if we learn to walk in honesty of purpose and mutual respect. These are the things that were not there or have not been there, and that accentuated this crisis. Well, I know that well-meaning Nigerians and senior party leaders are very much worried about what is happening, and several efforts are being made to see that these issues are resolved. So let me, with due respect, say that let me hold my own perspective apart from the parable I just gave to you, and wait till I have an opportunity to meet with these persons and then give them the benefit of my own advice. It's easy, it's simple. It's about justice. It's about fairness. It's about decency. You know, you if you are given, if you are accommodated, you should show respect.
Yeah.
You should show appreciation.
Yeah.
Nobody is asking for an arm and a leg. You know, what 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 I mean, you must have seen it, the discussions back and forth between the governor and Chief Danobi. It was about doing the right thing. Doing the right thing. At some point, the chairman emeritus said, okay, no problem you bringing people into the party, but because this is a constitutional thing, because because we are selfish, we try to run away from truth and reality. If somebody is elected to an office, it's only when that tenure expires that you can come there, or the person decide to relinquish.
Yeah.
And as a chief executive, you can interact as, okay, fine, I need, some persons came with me. I think it would be good to accommodate them. How can we? But there were no genuine discussions, genuine and honest discussions along that line. That is why we got to where we got to, which ought not to be. And I feel ashamed as a human being, as somebody who knows them, as somebody who is part of them, as a PDP member, and as an Edoman. I feel ashamed because it shows that we don't love God, we don't even fear God. Because where we are today, that the party is back to government in Edo, it's an act of God. And you see what happens, and people don't know. When God grants you grace and you misapply it, you are disgraced. And nobody is too big to be disgraced by God. But the frailty of man is that even when you are now being disgraced, you will take his business as usual. You saw Saul, he thought it was as usual, but he didn't know that the rug had been pulled off his feet. The Bible, the society is full of examples of how people whom God elevated, and they decided to play God or to abuse God or to abuse the opportunity, and they got disgraced. And I feel ashamed. This is not what should be happening to PDP in Edo State, because we've been out for about 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
And then the governor, we accepted him. Of course, it was not, it was challenging.
Yeah.
But he came and we all worked together and won. But today, the narrative has changed.
Yeah.
The history is being rewritten.
Yeah.
Even something that I was the campaign DG for the election, and I do not. Are you not surprised that me, who was the campaign DG, am being made to go through this kind of thing? Does it show that the system appreciates the role I played? And the biggest offense that God hates is ingratitude.
Yeah.
But again, we are human beings. Because of my own spiritual elevation, these things don't get to me. I'm able to see through the frailty of man and remain focused.
Well, people say this fight is not ordinary, that the fight is being sponsored, and that is why the Danobi keeps winning, the Danobi's faction keep winning in every court case concerning the registration of members. Danobi won in the court. Local government election, he won in the court. Party substitution of members in the party, he won in the court. And then the recent party primary too is winning. It's not ordinary because it's being fueled, it's being sponsored by Rivers State Governor Wike, that is near some Wike.
Well, I think that again, it's also very unfortunate.
And you know the governor is not happy about that because of his quarrel with Wike too.
It's very unfortunate that we have to drag Wike into our own
State politics.
not state politics, into our own inability to organize ourselves. It's like, I mean, how do you blame Wike for what is happening? Is it Wike that said, you took deputy governor, you came with deputy governor, you took SSG, you took chief of staff, out of commissioner, almost 22, I mean, how many commissioners? Almost 90% is one-sided. Is it Wike that did that? Then you come to the party, you don't do the right thing. The right thing will be to interact.
Yes. Negotiate.
You know,
Dialogue.
interact. You know, the problem of man and the black man is, who are you, Red? Let me tell you something. What an ant can do to an elephant cannot do it.
Yes.
If the ant enters the ear of an elephant, it will not have peace in the forest.
That is true.
Then you now blame the tiger in the zoo. That is what caused you to have problem with the ant. No, it obfuscates the whole discussion. Yes, Wike and Danobi are friends. That is their friend. They are friends. I'm a part of the legal team. I've never sat down with Wike to discuss this thing. What brought Wike to the matter from day one was that when the governor was coming, because of the fact that we had almost concluded the whole thing with the governorship ticket almost, as certain to be going in a particular direction. And because of the opposition, it's normal now. If you are poised to winning an election and somebody is coming, they want you to supplant you, will resist. It's natural. You heard me talk about distinguished Senator Alimikhena and that. I concede to him the right to want to even go to Senate for 50 terms. He has the right. There's no constitutional this, but I also, has the right to say, I want to go and improve on what he has done. It is not left for my people to say, okay, we believe that this guy is bringing a better perspective to the template, you know. So the people, the person who was poised to winning had a right to say, I no go agree. And that is what dragged everybody to Port Harcourt, because it was the only way, taking advantage of the fact that the governor of Rivers State is close to Chivobi. The party, the national leadership felt that, well, maybe if he's brought in, he can play a role and help to midwife the process, which is what he did. And what we should do to him and God is appreciation, not to vilify him, not to forget so soon. How midnight we were traveling to Port Harcourt to be holding meetings. To the best of my knowledge, I have not had any meeting. I have not been to Rivers State. Government house. As a lawyer, I go to court, but I have not been to government house in a long time. I don't even know where their lodge is in Abuja. I'm part of the legal team, you know, and it's not we are faced with an historical responsibility, either to just cow and throw in the towel, or stand and say, no, let the right thing be done. Let's call a spade a spade. Like I said, nobody is asking for an arm and a leg. It's interaction, mutual respect. Look, if you don't show respect to your children, they will revolt. Even the Bible talks about parents not disrespecting their children and cause them to revolt. That is even father and son or father and daughter. So it's I think that it's missing the point when we bring in Rivers State. There are issues that were not properly managed. I tell you something. I told you earlier about I gave you the example of you bring somebody from outside to your house. If he behaves well, you don't even mind to take, because he has come, take an holiday and say, okay, well, since you are going to be around for like a month, don't worry, you stay. Stay, get all the, everybody, make them available to the guests, and you travel with your wife because of attitude.
Yeah.
Attitude.
That's true.
What has happened is that the right attitude has not been deployed in this situation. It's not, you know, why I'm able to look at it, because I know that, yes, A sees it from the perspective that B does not see. So what should happen and make it easiest for honesty of discussion. When there's honesty of discussion, then you look at 9. If your head is bent down, it will be 6.
Yes.
And then we'll be arguing. But if we are honest, we'll eventually come and agree that this is 9 or this is 6. You know, it is the lack of honesty, the lack of patience in according mutual respect to ourselves. That is what has brought this whole matter. And at close quarters, I advised the governor, advised Chief Obi. They are human beings. Both of them are human beings. And they are capable of making mistakes. No human being is infallible. So, at close quarters, because of the privilege I have of being able to meet with them at close quarters, I advise, as this whole thing has gone through this period, I've had cause to advise Chief Obi repeatedly, I have cause to advise the governor repeatedly. But it's not my nature to come to the pages of newspapers and all that, because all of us cannot be combatants
At the same time.
at the same time. There must be some persons who at some point will be called in to mediate, to play the role of mediators, you know, to play, because if that is lacking in society, then it means there's a problem. So I think it's not be fair to Wike to vilify him over what's happening in those states. No, it's not be fair to him. It's in fact more of the failure of the national leadership of the party. You cannot pretend not to know that something is wrong. If you have whittle, my brother, you won't sleep. And what is happening there is more than whittle. And they are pretending that all is well. It shows lack of capacity to manage, because party administration, politics, management of crisis, there will always be crisis, because it's about interest. That is why you see that I don't quarrel with anybody, because you have a right, the governor has a right to want certain things in his own way. The same way, the party you met, the people have a right to say, no, this is how it should be. It's about interest. So, for, like I said, spiritually elevated people like me, I concede the fact that yes, you have that right. But how do we now? We must not marry our interests so that we can move forward. The Bible says, can two work together if they don't agree? No. That is the issue. It is the lack of agreement that is making the two not to work together. And that agreement can be reached on the altar of honesty, respect, mutual appreciation of the fact that you have interest, I have interest. Not that I've said it, it must be. For people who have independence of economic survival, you cannot you cannot dictate to them. That is true. Yes, and for some of us, we entered politics already by the grace of God. You know, able to comfortable. Yes, able to thank God, and that is it. So that gives us the boldness to call a spade a spade. And if you follow my history from 1990 date, it's been like that. That's 99 when we had one election. Why did I lead the revolt to say that Thomas Okosu must be speaker? Because somebody just sit there and say, okay, boys, that is going to be your speaker. I say, me, I contest election. I'm the one going there to work for Edo people. Somebody else just sits down in his palace and say, no, I called the boss and say, this is not my idea of politics. So where I'm coming from, we must do the right thing. And that is even as a member of the House of Assembly with His Excellency Chief Lucky Benendo as governor, you could see the vibrancy of the house. Yes. Because we used to tell Lucky Benendo that, look, It's only your friend that will tell your mouth is smelling.
Yes.
It's not what we see these days. But it has turned to, I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame.
In your
We held him accountable. We quarrel.
Yes.
Because we believed that we were there for the people, and we challenged him. We are from the same party, but we must challenge him to do the right thing. Look at the National Assembly, 10 months to go. Now they want to impeach. Because now everybody is feeling it.
Yes.
You even have the naira, you can't even purchase the dollar. So they're not saying, how can they achieve it in 10 months? And of course, like Sejisogo, Honorable was saying a few days ago, because the principal, the principal officers or the managers of the both arms were brought in by the president, they will not allow this whole thing to see the light. But whatever it is good at least finally they woke up.
Yes.
That will prepare the next set of who are coming to know that they have a right to do the right thing. Because if you don't do the right thing, when it collapses on everybody.
Before we leave Edo North, to national politics and other things on this discussion, have you met with the deputy governor? He's from your your area, and if you don't get his support, it may not also. So for your chances to be brighter, are you sure the deputy governor will support you?
The deputy governor will support me now. Why won't he support me? I supported him this time, and I've always supported him. We are friends. We are not only just friends, we are Christian brothers. You see, what is happening is not personal. Even as we are talking, I just won a case for the state government. The first time such a case has been won in Nigeria, when the APC attempted to declare the seats of the members of the House of Assembly vacant. Okay. I didn't say because we have these small issues, then today we are in court in Benin in the matter we are doing for the state government, because it's not a personal matter. It's a matter of principles. That is the thing. It's a matter of principles, you know, and that is what made me to be their friend, because they see me as a principled person, and I cannot change overnight, and that is why I am on the path that I'm towing. It's a matter of principles. Our personal relationship there's nothing untoward in our personal relationship. Our disagreement is purely political, and it must be. You see, you know, like I said, it's a matter of perspectives. You know, when some people describe the elephant, they'll say one thing that has very big fan like another person, you know, so it has a very big thing in the front. Anything that has to do with human beings, usually difficult to have an agreement of mind, especially, like I said, when interests are at play.
Yeah.
But because I concede the fact that the man opposite me has right to promote his interest. I don't have problem with the man. When the interest collides with my own interest, I am bold to say this is my own interest, and then there has to be an alignment so that we can move forward. So in all these things, at the end of the day, we're going to come out stronger as a party. There'll be better respect for each other, and then we deliver.
But you have a challenger, a big behemoth, in the APC. Adams Oshiomhole is contesting in the APC against you.
Yes.
How are you going to face that?
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
Until David showed up on the scene, nobody ever looked up at Goliath. Nobody. It was never. In fact, if you read that story very well, when the king was sending him, he said, well, go and commit suicide. He didn't even believe. So there's always a day for the champion to be defeated. The day has come. I have tremendous respect for Comrade. In fact, I call him Ugbome. Ugbome translates to, the literal translation is that what makes a man is your boldness. Your boldness, strength of heart, character. I gave him that name. I've called right from when he was NLC president. I used to call him People's President. If you look at my phone, I save his name, not his name there. I don't have him as Comrade Adams Oshiomhole. I call him People's President. So it's a man that I have tremendous respect for. He's done well for our people. He's done well for society, and he's done well for himself. Look at it, all his numbers. People's President. That's
President.
yes, people, yes. So my relationship and him dates back long ago, and I have tremendous respect for him.
Why don't you concede to him?
I salute his political savvy. I salute his intellectual acumen. I know that he's a man who has capacity. He's proven it time and time again. But you know, every good movie has an end. It's a good movie, and its end, you know, and as it ends, a new one comes. It is a set time for a change in Afemai politics, in Afemai land.
Do you think?
And I'm the one to now help to give my most distinguished Udukomo comrade the befitting exit from the scene.
Okay. Do you think?
So don't pity me. Look forward to when we are celebrating the victory. I'm going to invite John Mayake and crew to come and mark it, put it down.
Do you see a lack in legislature at the National Assembly that you want to fill? What exactly do you plan to do?
You see, the biggest problem confronting our country today is a problem of insincerity, which has made corruption to become like a human being, become, you know, it's now Frankenstein. There's corruption all over the world, but it's not, you know, it's not the way it is in Nigeria, where it's like just like you have the fourth estate of the realm. Corruption is like the fifth estate.
Yes.
It shouldn't be. We are, you see, through the period, we have not made government to work for the people. What are the people looking for? What are they asking for? Security. Security of life, of limbs and property, and then security of the stomach. And then in that security, proper atmosphere is created for you to enterprise, to flourish. And then let your kids go to school. Somebody is sick, it goes to an hospital. These are basic things that government through the years has failed to make available to our people. Not that we don't have the money, but even when the money is voted, it's not followed through to the end to do the job it's supposed to do. Where we are today now in Nigeria requires people who are ready to make sacrifice. To say, let's forget about allowances. Let's forget about all this money. How many of us are carrying money to the grave? How many? As carnal as man would be, even those days in ancient Egypt, where people used to be buried with gold and diamond. I mean, how long did they last? After a while, thieves will come and remove the gold and diamond. So it means your happiness can only be guaranteed if I'm happy. If only you are happy and I'm not happy, and we're in the same environment, then you are your own. You have become your own witch. So we need to change the thinking. We need to bring sincerity to governance. It's not there now. It's all about pursuit of self, pursuit of me. No, we have pursued it to a conclusion now that there's nothing to pursue anymore. My brother, the country is broke. God forbid that in the next few months, they can't even pay salaries. The other day when the governor and my governor said they're printing money, they were insulting him. But has it not been proven right now And that is what I talk about, his sincerity. They knew that he said the right thing, but they were poo-pooing him. But today, they are not both to say, sorry, you were right.
But I understand your party, the PDP, laid the foundation we are in now.
Laid the foundation.
Yes, the PDP, 16 years in power,
don't
led us to where we are now.
Don't forget that by the time His Excellency President Buhari came on board, our economy was emerging as the most largest in Africa. PDP had paid debts, what had not been done before under Obasanjo, set the framework for the infrastructural accomplishment that we are enjoying today now. What new thing have they done? What new thing? If you say, okay, PDP didn't do well, then you are coming to change. After 8 years, you are still blaming PDP.
PDP entrenched corruption?
After 8 years, PDP entrenched corruption. PDP established EFCC. PDP established ICPC. So what have they done with the EFCC and the ICPC? In this government, see what Accountant General, 109 billion. Is that not sickness? Sickness. People just sit down and share money. That's sickness. That's what I'm talking about. The problem of insincerity, corruption. You know, so you cannot. It's not the mouth of APC to say PDP. You have had 8 years. Why are we now worse? I bought $7.20, $7.30 in Benin 2 days ago. It's moving, running to 1,000.
Yeah, it's back. It's down.
There's been some minor because everybody is feeling it. It's this afternoon. It's come down to like 6:30. You know, so the management of our economy. It's also because of sincerity. They are not able to. The other day, the governor of Central Bank was at the villa and was blaming NNPC. You see, every day they are blaming, shifted blames here and there, and nobody has been sacked. Nobody has been punished. It's a government where, and if you do anything wrong, you are celebrated. You cannot blame PDP for that. Why were you voted into power? To come and right the wrongs or change the wrongs you said PDP had entrenched. So what have they done? My brother, here, that bandits will have the effrontery to boast that they want to kidnap the president. It cannot be worse than that. It cannot be worse than that. Are you blaming PDP for that? Are you going to blame PDP for that?
What campaign? How are you going to campaign Atiku versus Tinubu?
Yes.
Oh, that campaign is going to be interesting.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
What will PDP campaign with?
You've just said now we have an Atiku who is has history of performance, has history of
performance. How he was a vice president.
Yeah, I mean, from his own personal accomplishment, you can tell in the way he has managed his own private economy, not from questionable sources like the other candidate. You can tell that if he has opportunity, he can certainly bring this Midas touch to managing the economy. And don't forget, as vice president, he showed promise. He managed the economic council and economic team where, in fact, it is to his credit that the EFCC was established and he had hunted the first chairman of EFCC. That's to show you a man who has vision, a man who's thinking beyond. It's not about self for him. He's thinking beyond today, tomorrow. He's not thinking like a statesman. How can we change? How can we turn around our system?
Are you not afraid with the situation in the PDP? Rivers State Governor, Nyesom Wike may collapse this party.
No, you see, again, you recall I said, I talked about honesty of purpose, mutual respect. Who are you, Ray? Causes wahala. And I'm sure that now, the BOT is meeting about this time. Yeah. It shows that they appreciate the fact that there's nobody can, even a madman on election day, is very important. Because if he steals your PVC and you pursue him, he runs to the bush, before you come, they are through the accreditation, you can't vote. So every person is important. not to talk of a man who has been there at the root of the stabilization of PDP. He is not a man you just treat with levity. And so everybody is coming. Everybody has come to their senses. And they've realized. They thought it was just about Nyesom, Wike. I call him Buruburu. No, you can see that there are other persons who also believe. You see, this whole thing is about doing the right thing. Doing the right thing. You know, if you look at the trajectory of his campaign, the trajectory of his what propelled him to enter the race, there are things that you cannot fault him for. And now, I mean, you can't take it away from the president. I mean, the presidential candidate, the right to appoint whoever he wants as his running mate. Yeah. He has that right. But you see, when you do certain things, if they are not done properly, if you do a right thing and you do it in the wrong way or at the wrong time, it will produce wrong reaction. And that's what has happened. There was some error of judgment in the management of that process. They didn't need to bother him. He had lost, taken it in good faith. They let him be. Don't begin to torture him with something that you already made up your mind you won't get. And he has blood in his this thing. But the good thing is that Wike is PDP DNA and he's not going anywhere. He said it loud and clear. But he deserves to be treated with respect for all that he's done for the party. And we need to come to heal the process and then move forward. Yeah. So what is happening is normal, it's natural. When there's a disagreement, we have a parable in the Africa palace that a goat, say it is in the absence of an elder that will make a goat tethered to a tree to begin to labor. So the elders are doing what they're actually supposed to do. They are coming. And that is what they have failed to do with Edo. They didn't need to wait for us to get to this level. You understand? Because no matter the issues at stake, they are human issues, management issues. So there are issues that you ought to be able to resolve,
Wow, thank you so very much, sir. Yes. Well, I wish we can continue this discussion, but we need to also allow you to go and address some other issues. Okay. We want to appreciate all of you watching us on the John Mayaki Show today. We just had Honorable Barrister Pascal Ugbome, former House of Assembly member, a PDP chieftain, and the present senatorial candidate for Edo North. We sincerely appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, viewers, and bye for now.